But
feel like no nigga choosing me. I'm choosing the nigga.
I don't know why.
What?
But
It takes for a
you
man to be
wanna be
interested
married.
in you to begin with for him to choose you.
You saying they gotta choose and then you're getting them the choice to be with them. Like you ultimately.
Yeah, it's ultimately my decision on who I want to give my time to. I'm not giving my time to a nigga because he want my time. Is you crazy?
What?
It ain't no shortage on niggas, but it's a shortage on husbands.
They're not developed yet. They're little girls still in their head. That's what I think. There's not a lack of good qualified men, in my opinion, that could be husbands, that can function as good partners. And I think we need to start challenging the women to, to have them convey what they assume a husband is. I think we've romanticized this relationship thing too much.
The bar in which to get to know him cannot be so absurd. So, as you mentioned, the things that we see
What
on the
is the
internet.
bar that is absurd?
So maybe she's driven solely just on physical attraction, and that may be something that is even fleeting in itself. Or maybe the way that he dresses, you know what I'm saying? There are things that are that should be extremely minimal, that are used to make major decisions on whether or not you want to get to know somebody, and that actually probably, in short, blocks your blessing.
Because when I hear women even say, I want a communicator, they actually meet one. I'm a communicator. Most of them can't even handle a real communicator. Because now I can keep up with your intellect, or the fact that you think that you're smarter than most dudes, but you may be, because you're used to being around dumb dudes. So this list is more like when he fits the general mode, in my opinion. I don't think that it's honest.
So what do you think about the saying that women should be with a man who wants her more than she wants them?
I don't know about that.
I because men get the pick, like they say, men do the choosing. I think the man should want you more because they got to choose you. So if
I don't feel like no nigga choosing me. I'm choosing the nigga.
I don't know why.
What?
But
It takes for a
you
man to
wanna
be
be
interested
married.
in you to begin with for him to choose you. You don't have the option of talking to that man unless he wants to talk to you.
that
I ain't met a nigga that don't want to talk to me.
Exactly, which means he chose you.
Girl.
She's saying let them choose and then she'll
Decide
validate
what,
the choice.
whether she want.
You
Yeah,
saying you saying they gotta choose and then you're getting them the choice to be with them. Like you ultimately.
Yeah, it's ultimately my decision on who I want to give my time to. I'm not giving my time to a nigga because he want my time. Is you crazy? That's crazy.
I hear that 100%. But when it comes to marriage, that's really where that base comes from. Because the men gets to ask the woman, "Will you be my wife?" And then they have to say yes. So that's why they said men do the children. What is it saying? Women get who they can. What's the saying? Okay, anyway, but they say that men get to do, they pick their wives.
They do.
You could run around all day, I want to be a wife, I want to be a wife. But until a man asks you to be a wife, you're never going to be a wife.
Not really.
So that's why men, at the end of the day, get to, as much as we don't like it, that is the reality of it. So,
But if I'm to your point, if I'm liking you or loving you more than you love me, that ain't gonna be right. That's when you get ran over. Most of the time, it got to be the other way around, bro.
she still got to love you a lot, though. I'm not saying be with somebody who don't love you.
She got to love you more because she the backbone. She the one gonna keep it together because nigga gonna get the fuck on. It's too much of a one-sided thing. Because like I said, I could walk out here today and walk downstairs and get a queen.
Mm-hmm.
Now one of y'all can't do that. Walk right downstairs and go next door to the restaurant and find the love of my life, a wife. All she missing is me.
Mm.
It's a shortage on husbands. It ain't no shortage on niggas, but it's a shortage on husbands. A nigga that want to be a husband, that shit, it's a woman holding on to his leg for dear life right now. She ain't letting him go.
Mm. What y'all thinking, man? Is a shortage a husband? That was the first question I started off with. I know you got ladies were starting to ask. Jay, Keisha, what y'all thinking?
I'm sorry. I don't think there's a shortage of people to marry per se, but I never thought of it being like a shortage, and I don't think an individual person would be able to say like there's a shortage of husbands because you should only be looking for your one anyway. And it's a very individual choice, I feel like, and what that means for someone to have a husband and what that looks like for them.
I don't think it's a shortage of husbands. I think it's a shortage of qualified partners. I think that kind of like what It's Mac saying there's plenty of single men, women. I think the problem is being single don't always equate to, you know, available for help. Some people being available for healthy relationships. That's what I think. Yeah.
So, I hate to say it like this, but I do think it's a shortage of men or husbands. I don't know. It's just what I see, especially being on these platforms. You see a lot of men that just want to play around, like so. Men that's actually trying to date with intention of marriage, looking for their wives. I think it's a shortage of them.
So that's just single men in general, not husbands. They just single men. So I don't think, that's why I said kind of what you saying, Paris. I don't think it's a shortage of husbands. I think it's, you know what I mean, just a shortage of partners. What you saying? They like to play around. They like to, you can't find emotional mature men a lot of times. You know, all kind of crap going on. So I don't think it's just qualified. That's why I kind of said qualified partners in a way. Just people ready.
Yeah, I could agree to that.
So I think there's some important data to understand when you incorporate every possible factor like imprisonment, sexual orientation, and everything that women would love to throw out there to say that, all right, well, there's not enough men. It ends up being about 84 men to 100 women who have never been married. If you start to count people who have been married, already divorced, and all, it gets a little bit worse, where it's closer to 66 to 100. So while there is the advantage of men, I think that it's a lot easier for women to be able to find a suitable husband. But I understand that the standards and what is considered to be suitable is where we'd have to bridge the gap. Does anybody disagree with that?
No, not at all.
All right. So then the question would be, what are some of the main things that you think are actually limiting women from being able to be married to men? Do you think that is something that women are doing incorrectly? Do you think they're not trying hard enough? Or do you think that it's just not enough? What do you think is the main driving force behind it?
They're not developed yet. They're little girls still in their head. That's what I think. There's not a lack of good qualified men, in my opinion, that could be husbands, that can function as good partners. And I think we need to start challenging the women to have them convey what they assume a husband is. I think we've romanticized this relationship thing too much and lived through storybook like exchanges, because I meet men who, in my opinion, man to man assessing a man, and all the men on this panel can assess men. When we're looking at a man, if we had daughters, oh, this guy would be a good candidate to, protect my daughter moving forward because of his characteristic, because of his proven consistency. Now, is he 6'2", 6'4"? Does he make $800,000 a year? Maybe not, but that's what I think is the disconnect, is that you got a lot of women who think that romance is this storybook and that they're all going to get this stellar guy, and most of them are basic. If you want a husband, he's going to annoy you. If you want a man, he's going to challenge you. He's not always just going to automatically make your little kitty wet. Maybe, maybe not. But that's why I think is the disconnect. Women don't want men nowadays. They want sexual experiences. They want a partner who does not challenge them. They want an idea of a man. They don't really want a man, because throughout history, men have always came alongside and started imparting in that young lady, and she was open to hear and respect it. That's not the women we have today. So it's not a lack of husbands, in my opinion. It's a lack of women who don't want to grow up.
Though I don't disagree with the first portion of, I would have said it differently personally, was that my thought was a lot of people don't really, like women in particular, there's like an idea of what they want, but there's also not enough understanding of self, I feel like a lot of times, for them to really truly go out into the world with intention. And then also falling back on lust and your flesh, right? And those moments of loneliness. I always find it interesting when men say, according to them, what they would qualify the men for. The part about that you are missing is the side of the intimacy bar that is passed when a man is now dealing with a woman. So this man on surface level of certain things would absolutely, and I see a lot of times, and I understand what you're saying with that, but until you know a man in an intimate space, you will truly not understand his full capability of being said husband, if that makes sense.
I like you, Miss Mac. I like you. You're very smart. I like how you put that. Let's explore that for a second, right? You're absolutely right. But I think that's where we're at now, in the collective space that is relationships. When I said from man assessing men, men have never assessed men romantically. We're not interested in romance. We are interested in his consistency. We're interested in the fact, just so you can understand the general consensus of how men think. I should be able to give you my life and then an extension of my life. So if I'm handing you my daughter, I need to trust that you can handle her as good, if not better than I would. That's not romantic in the general sense. And if you look at history, that's typically how we picked, right? What we've allowed now is because we live in a first world country and a first world society, romance is the driving force behind relationships, and they never have been. So now we're in this weird space. So we're trying to figure out, what do we do moving forward now? Because we're dismantling everything that was pillar about man, woman, family, and all those things. And I agree with you. I think that there's an elevation maybe that needs to happen with men, understanding that women now are seeking. I've even heard Restoring say this before. You guys want us in a way we've never had to arrive yet. I don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe it will in the next 10 to 20. But I think that, again, is the challenge. We're speeding up something like, oh, men are supposed to arrive emotionally mature, know how to deal with women emotionally. Nah, men ain't never been good at dealing with women emotionally, as you can tell. So we're learning on the
job.
So check this out. You know what? All right, go ahead. But I had a question for the ladies, though, in all honesty, because I think that in some instances we've downed women or even demonized them for what it is that they want. And apparently there's a new modern day standard of expectations, right? This is definitely what True was just talking about. So I want to challenge the ladies to be honest, right? And tell us what it is that your priorities are, right? Because it's literally impossible for you to build a bear and create every single thing that women are requesting. But what is paramount? What actually is it? What is it that you want? Because if you want romance, let us know. Because in all honesty, some women are able to provide for themselves right now, maybe protect a provider. We've made the world so posh for you, ladies, that maybe that's not really what you want anymore. So how about we challenge the ladies to be honest? I would love for everyone to give us maybe a top 3, and if you can go up to 5 if you want. What is it that you are literally looking for long term? If you had to have 3 things, 3 attributes about a man that would have to be static forever, right? What would they be? Top 3. Don't all go at once. I know y'all know what you want, right?
I would say you ain't let us say it. Wait a minute. Give us a second. I would say consistent, honest, and emotionally mature. You said 3, so I'm giving you 3.
No, that's fine. I'm taking it. Okay.
Can I go?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
Okay. I like the 3 that you gave, so I'm just gonna add on to that. Effort, accountability, I'm gonna get one more. And I feel like, can we throw trust in there, or is that already a thing that's supposed to be there already?
It's you. If you have the same as someone else, we can't knock you for that. If there's a consensus, it is what it is. That only makes it easier for us. True, you're writing that down, right?
Yeah, write it
My
down. I
man.
have a list. I have a list of 10 things.
Okay.
I could go into my notes and read it to you if you want me to.
No. That's cool. That's cool. 3 is cool. Miss Mac, what you got?
Integrity, desire from me, and adaptability.
Adaptability. I've heard that before. Um, just for a brief second, give us a few, maybe a quick sentence on what that looks like for you.
Sometimes not being so like stuck or stubborn, and that can be mentally or just even a physical thing. Of being able to understand abstract thoughts sometimes, even if you don't quite agree. That's more of a personal, obviously, moment thing.
Got it. Paris.
I don't know. I think I want, provider, protector, and um communicator. That would be my top 3.
Okay. Restoring a village.
Personally, I would say I only have one. I would want somebody who is religious and very spiritual. Because in Islam, if you actually follow it to the T as a man, there's something in it for every aspect of what a relationship should look like. You're supposed to be a provider, you're supposed to be socially, emotionally intelligent, you're supposed to be patient, you're supposed to be loyal, so on and so forth. So I just want that because it's going to hit everything, all the other targets. And if you fear God, then I have nothing else to worry about because you're not going to oppress me or do anything unjust to me because you know that you're going to be held accountable.
Okay. Jay, so on you.
Well, I definitely have more than 3. But I would
I ain't
say,
actually all that, but you could go ahead.
I would say, protection, presence, and I want to say the desire or the craving for me. Um, do you want 4? Like, loyalty to me. There you go. There's 4.
Right. So I want to let one of the other men have it. Pause. However, I think we might have a Eureka moment because this is not typically what women on the internet say, right? Like, so I kind of I want to
What are
see
they
what
saying? They
Sue's
want a
take
man to
on.
love to be lovey dovey
Well,
and all hold hands and all that stuff.
yeah, I hear all kinds of things, but this is a different take on it. And with that, I think that men could actually take a different approach. Fresh Maker, what's your assessment upon what you just gathered? And then I know, True, you're gonna close it with this one because I know you've been taking notes.
I think these are admirable things to want. I think, however, we do have a disconnect, like True mentioned. If we want to get to know these intimate parts of men and whether they do have these values for you, uh, the bar in which to get to know him cannot be so absurd. So, as you mentioned, the things that we see
What
on the
is the
internet.
bar that is absurd?
So maybe she's driven solely just on physical attraction, and that may be something that is even fleeting in itself, or maybe the way that he dresses. You know what I'm saying? There are things that are that should be extremely minimal that are used to make major decisions on whether you're or not you want to get to know somebody, and that actually probably, in short, blocks your blessing. And I think this happens quite often. The last thing I would say is that I heard desire was mentioned, and I think that we do ourselves a disservice by actually not putting a serious priority on what it is that men actually desire. Of course, you want him to desire you, but what is it about you that will make him desire you? Do you have that? Are you willing to develop that, or is it something that you don't want to work for? I'll land.
True.
I think that all the ladies were being nice about it. I think it's all BS. And I'll say that.
Yeah, I got time,
y'all
girl.
gotta forgive me. I'm just a straight shooter, right? I think I've learned with being on these panels that when you ask women questions in general, they're speaking from the best case scenario. So as all these things are great characteristics, I think that only women have the keen ability to talk about it from, well, yes, I'm speaking about the guy that I actually desire and I actually want. He looks the way I want him to look already. He's already crossed those markers. So when you talk about trust, integrity, provider, protector, communicator, that's the secondary. And to like Freshmaker's point, well, if we're being honest in mass, that's not typically what women are speaking about, because these characteristics exist in most guys, in my opinion. Like, and some of them can even be developed. Integrity and desire. If you're a woman and you not 300 pounds and hard to look at, most dudes can be integral and definitely can desire you. No issue. Protector, provider, communicator. Cool. Communicator. To what degree and what capacity? Because when I hear women even say, I want a communicator, they actually meet one. I'm a communicator. Most of them can't even handle a real communicator. Because now I can keep up with your intellect, or the fact that you think that you're smarter than most dudes, which you may be because you're used to being around dumb dudes. So this list is more like a when he fits the general mode, in my opinion. I don't think that it's honest. And I think that's, again, the disconnect. We're in this weird space to where clearly the men of the past have made the standard that women are supposed to be okay with these things that a man has. That's no longer the world we live in. So now we're trying to figure out how to best meet you guys at your highest level of desire. And what I think we often see is it's not that easy to land on what this ideal man is actually consisting of. What does he look like? How does he sound? What career does he have? It's very broad and vague. And I think that's a challenge, in my opinion.
So should the women have said, hey, true. So should the women have said, he needs to be 6 feet, he needs to be attractive, he needs to be,
That's the answer
you
he
know,
was looking
6
for.
figures. Right. But if women were to give that answer, now it's like want. But you know, like damn if you do, damn if you don't. Like, yeah, he need to be 6 foot. Yeah.
No, I think we
Not
gave
for
you
me.
guys
I'm just saying a lot of women say that.
No, I think we gave you guys the room to communicate, which I appreciate, right? And I'll pick on her for a second, but I actually like what she said, and I think it was key. Restoring was the only one that talked about a man arriving at a place where he's operating as a man, and those characteristics are already existing. So we didn't have to get into the physicality. She spoke from a man that is practicing something that has nothing to do with relationships, right? I personally think that's what's missing. My mother is actually another woman who, when she wanted my dad, which they've been married 40 years, that was the only thing she required. He loves God. That's it. She didn't think about how tall he was, what color eyes he had, what career. Because in her mind, if he followed God, everything else was going to fall in line, right? Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of women who subscribe to spirituality, religion. Cool. So now we're exploring these things, and there's nothing wrong with that. So if you wanted to be 6 feet, cool. You're going to struggle. If you want him to make $500,000 a year, cool. You're going to struggle. If you want a husband, in my mind, and maybe most men, this man is going to be someone who's on track. He's devoted. He's consistent. He has integrity. He protects. He provides. It's not a look. Husbands don't have a look. They have a mindset. And that's what I think is missing a lot of times, in my opinion.
I was listening a little bit. I do agree partly with what True's saying, but also it's like it's not 1855 no more, and we not Mormon. So a nigga can't just come like, oh, I got provide and protect. Like, no, niggas, motherfucker can ask you to have some emotional intelligence. It's not that hard. It's not hard to listen. I think one of the biggest things with us men, right? Because I always had this conversation with y'all about, does it matter the way that you communicate it, or is it just the message, right? And niggas be like, it's just the message. It don't matter how I say it, right? And that takes me back to the way that we brought up, right? When your parents are kind of like, yo, I said what I said. It don't ask me why, right? That don't work no more. You know, when my kid asks me why, I tell him why. Because it's important that he understands why. It's important that I give him the knowledge. It's important that he holistically understands everything that I'm telling him. And I think we kind of we doing that thing with our women of, don't ask me what. Like, no, nigga, they communicate, right? Communicate and do it effectively. I don't think that's too much to ask.
Yeah, I hear you, man. At 1865 or whatever the year, I get it. I actually am one of the men who subscribe to men being better. I really have this mindset that men should be optimal. But in that understanding of my ideology, the optimal position a man should be in should not be because of a woman. He should be that because he's man. So if you're man and you just so happen to be doing your thing, a woman that's wise and smart will be able to recognize your development, your consistencies, your disciplines, right? And if she's attracted to you, then all these things will just fall into place. But what I think is that there's a big gap of development, extremely on the man side. So I agree with you. The challenge is that unfortunately a lot of men make their identity about what women sign off on. And women can't, in my opinion, define man because they're not men. They don't know what it is to be us. And that's fair. Great. But they should know what they're, I guess, hoping to interact with from something that is actually reachable, solid, and replicable. It shouldn't be so vague and it shouldn't be so superficial, you know, at least in my, if we're talking about a husband, nobody significant. But
I agree with the superficial
So
stuff.
true. Do you think that what?
I didn't really hear any
Oh, do you think
superficial
that?
things from a lot of the women on.
Go ahead,
I
Lakeisha. I heard you.
didn't hear
So do you
any
think that?
superficial responses.
Okay.
Lakeisha, go ahead.
Okay, so do you think that what all the women said true? Do you think that most men already possess those?
No,
Like,
I
if
don't.
we're looking for it, do you think that, like, if I'm looking for a man that's honest, I'm looking for a man that has some emotional maturity, I'm looking for a man that's consistent. If I'm looking for it, then obviously there's a lot of men that lack it. So my question is, do you think that most men carry those traits?